Svalbard, latitude 78 degrees north, ambient temperature -22. The survey vessel RV Geognost sits stationary against a shelf of glacial white. The mission is procedural, mapping the rate of glacial erosion through core sampling. We are targeting a dark, jagged formation resting on the ice flow, an isolated mound of basalt exhibiting the standard geometry of volcanic rock.
Crane A-frame locked. Core sampler deployment initiated. Contact in 5, 4, 3.
The drill assembly is a 4-ton hydraulic masterpiece, tipped with industrial-grade diamond bits. It meets the rock at 0800 hours. The sound is a high-frequency scream. On the bridge, monitors track variables: bit temperature, RPM, downward pressure. For 30 seconds, the machinery performs as designed. But geology is supposed to be static. Basalt does not have a reactive index.
Chief, we've got a variant. Torque is bottoming out. The bit isn't shattering the rock. It's sliding. Pull it back.
The physics of the site change instantly. The basalt does not crack, it ripples. A wave of kinetic energy travels through the mound as the matte grey texture begins to oscillate. The granite geometry softens, losing its jagged edges as the internal temperature rises 40 degrees in seconds. Then, the eye opens. A golden iris the size of a ship's porthole. The 20-ton mass shifts its center of gravity. It stands, unfolding thick, muscular fins that have hardened to the density of volcanic stone. This is Lithichthys ludens, the Tectonic Skipper.
Get the cameras up. It's biological. Sound the collision alarm. It's tilting toward the hull.
The creature does not attack. It exhibits cognitive mimicry. It tilts its massive head, observing the drill. Then, from deep within its resonance chamber, it emits a sound. An exact acoustic duplicate of the hydraulic drill. A grinding mechanical whine, followed by the distinct whir click of the clutch disengaging. The mission is no longer about erosion. We have entered a state of industrial xenolinguistics. A 15-meter organism provides a significant displacement problem. Its physiology is a cross-platform anomaly, the ancient armor of a coelacanth combined with the rapid-phase chromatophores of a cephalopod. Its skin is a variable geometry interface. On the surface, land mode, the scales lock into a rigid, non-reflective matrix indistinguishable from silicate.
Bridge, massive thermal shift on the starboard quarter. Texture index is cascading, shifting from granite to liquid glass. It's sliding in. Mark!
At 10 o'clock hours, the creature enters the water column. The physics of its exterior undergo a total refractive recalibration. As the cold seawater hits the scales, the biological basalt softens, turning translucent. The matte grey vanishes, replaced by a refractive opal that blends with the ice wall. It doesn't just hide, it disappears into the medium. But the ship's sonar begins to register high-decibel acoustic pulses.
Sonar's going erratic. The pings are coming back too fast. It's mirroring our exact frequency. It's playing our own sonar back to us with zero latency.
The behavior suggests an intelligence that operates on playground logic, but possesses the kinetic energy of a tectonic shift. It surfaces 3 meters from the hull. In a display of extreme mimicry, the skipper adjusts its dorsal pigmentation. It begins to manifest the specific safety yellow color of our cranes, complete with the dark streaks of oxidized rust found along our waterline. It is camouflaging itself as the ship. When Dr. Kogan waves from the deck, the creature extends a massive fin and mirrors the gesture. It is mocking our movements to test our response. The problem is scale. The creature begins to nudge the RV Geognost. Each poke sends a shudder through the ship's primary structural frame. It wants a reaction. It views our vessel not as a threat, but as a mechanical puzzle. We are no longer the observers. We have become the toy. To prevent hull breach from accidental play, we have to engage. We need a distraction big enough for a living monolith. The ship is a closed acoustic environment. Every impact is recorded as a vibration through the deck plates. A 20-ton mass striking 3,000 tons of steel. The rivets aren't popping yet, but the hull is ringing like a cathedral bell.
Chief, hull resonance spiking at 40 hertz. It's testing the welds. We need a lateral distraction now.
Chief Miller implements Kinetic Engagement Protocol 01. The object is a bright orange tsunami buoy, a half-ton of high-density polyethylene. Today, it is an industrial-grade chew toy.
A-frame clear. Rigging the buoy to the secondary winch. Hydraulic pressure steady. Swinging out now.
The crane arm extends over the black swell. The buoy dangles, a violent splash of safety orange against the monochrome Arctic. The skipper stops its assault on the hull. It holds position, its translucent form catching the floodlights. It is processing the variable.
Drop it! Mark!
The winch screams. The buoy hits the water with a heavy thud. Reaction is instantaneous. Lithichthys breaches. A massive arc of grey and silver, lunging 10 meters into the frozen air. It catches the buoy mid-air. Not with teeth, but with a precise, crushing grip of its silicate jaw. The physics shift to the crane. The creature doesn't dive, it pulls. The steel cable snaps taut, the A-frame groans, the hydraulics scream as fluid is forced back through the valves. For 4 seconds, the RV Geognost is anchored to a living tectonic plate.
Tension at 18,000 pounds. Miller, release the winch or that cable snaps.
The creature lets go. The buoy bobs to the surface, scarred but intact. The skipper remains visible, its golden eye fixed on the crane assembly. It isn't trying to destroy the machine, it is waiting for the reset. It has learned the relationship between the winch's whine and the release of the weight. The engagement is no longer about distraction. It is a study of cognitive mapping in a Titan-scale environment. 1600 hours. The Arctic light flattens. We require high-fidelity data from within the water column. Deploying the ROV, a yellow box-frame submersible equipped with a fiber-optic tether. A $3 million eye into the abyss.
Submersible Yellowjack entering the splash zone. Chief, visual on starboard. The skipper is closing the gap.
The creature orbits. It swims in tight, rhythmic circles, forcing the ROV's stabilization system into a high-load state. The skipper is testing the machine's station-keeping ability. It is a study of mechanical tolerance.
Optical array struggling. Look at the hull strobes. Every time the ROV's lights pulse, the skipper's skin clusters blink back. It's matching our cadence.
This is active signal mirroring. The skipper's opal hide reflects the ROV's own geometry back at the cameras. Then the interaction turns physical. The creature opens its silicate maw and gently encompasses the machine.
Loss of horizon. Tension on the tether climbing. It's taking us down. Depth 100 meters.
At 10 atmospheres of pressure, the skipper releases the machine. It spits the ROV back into the water column unharmed. A game of industrial tag. The skipper has mapped our light codes and mechanical mass. But as the ROV surfaces, the sonar picks up a new frequency. The creature is moving toward the primary propulsion system. It wants to know how the big one dances. 1730 hours. Dr. Kogan reclassifies the encounter as a behavioral calibration test. We are establishing a kinetic bridge between two disparate intelligences. The medium is the vocabulary of heavy industry, steel, pressure, and hydraulics.
Control, log entry 44B. Primary winch under static load. Cycling the main pump. Watch the hydrophone. Subject is reacting.
The skipper is 5 meters off the port quarter. As the crane rotates, the hydraulic manifold emits a distinct high-frequency whine. The creature does not flinch. It matches the sound.
Frequency match, 98%. It's mirroring the mechanical harmonics. Every valve tick is echoing the ship's internal pulse.
This is the core of the paradox. We are teaching the skipper our language, while it demonstrates the terrifying limits of biological mimicry. It is parsing the variables of our technology. It isn't just hearing the ship, it is learning to predict the machine's failure points. Dr. Kogan observes the creature is calibrating. It nudges the hull again, but this time precise, hitting the exact structural node where resonance is highest.
Hull vibration spiking. It's hitting the sweet spot on the ballast tank. Miller, shut down the hydraulics. It's learning how to vibrate the welds loose.
We cease all movement. Total industrial silence. The skipper waits. It is bored with the stillness. It has mastered the vocabulary of the crane. Now it looks deeper. The creature descends, merging with the dark geometry of the ship's underside. It wants to talk to the engine. "1800 hours. The mission timeframe has expired. The RV Geognost prepares for extraction. We initiate the startup sequence for the twin diesel-electric engines. The vibration is immediate. The Tectonic Skipper is still beneath us, feeling the torque before the shafts turn.
Bridge to engine room. Engaged at 10% RPM. We have a visual. Subject is surfacing in the prop wash.
As the ship gains momentum, the skipper performs a final act of kinetic communication, a breach of unprecedented scale. 20 tons of biological silicate accelerating from the depths. It manifests a rapid-phase bioluminescent display. As it hangs in the freezing air, the creature's skin cycles through the entire visible spectrum: crimson, electric emerald, deep cobalt. A total spectral mirror of our navigation lights, amplified to a titan's intensity. A luminescent goodbye.
Impact. Splashdown recorded. Subject has returned to the passing ice flow. Visual contact intermittent. We're moving out.
The Geognost pushes north. The camera remains locked on the dark mound where the creature made landfall. The transformation is total. As the cold air hits its scales, the skipper undergoes a final texture shift. The opal transparency is discarded for rigid basalt grey. The golden iris folds beneath a matte silicate lid. The panback reveals the truth. In the vast monochrome graveyard of the Arctic, we see 100 such mounds, 1,000 jagged formations of matte basalt. The RV Geognost returns to harbour, but the paradox remains. We went searching for the history of the Earth, only to find the Earth was watching us. The intelligence hasn't left. It has simply closed its eyes, waiting, hidden in plain sight, as just another boring rock in a frozen world. Mission complete. Subscribe the Pelagic Archives for more documentary.